heavens opened up at Monaco and the rain came pouring down. The 2022 Formula 1 season was host to its second wet race of the year, and it was at one of the most picturesque circuits of the season. In the end, Sergio Perez put in a solid drive on a constantly changing track to get the much needed win. Leclerc, who was on pole position, suffered from a terrible Ferrari strategy and he came in 4th place. Carlos Sainz finished in P2 and Max Verstappen in P3. Hello and welcome to Forward Motorsports, your pit stop for all things motorsport, and today we'll take you through the Monaco Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc was leading the race with a 6-second lead, but changing track conditions meant that it was time to change from the rain tyre to the slicks. The pole sitter was then called into the garage, but the team messed up the timing of the call. This led to Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen leading over the Ferrari cars. Perez then held onto his lead until the end of the race to take home his third Grand Prix victory. This makes Sergio Perez the most successful Mexican driver in the history of Formula 1. Post-race, he said, "Winning at Monaco, it's a dream come true as a driver. When you come into Formula 1 and when you come to Monaco and when you drive for the first time, you always dream about one day winning the race or racing in here. So it's just incredible. Such a big day for myself. I was driving with Pedro Rodriguez's helmet today, and I'm sure that he will be super proud of what we have achieved in the sport." Perez was wearing a special tribute helmet in this race. The helmet is a tribute to the late Mexican driver Pedro Rodriguez, as they are the only two Mexican drivers to finish on the podium. A very disappointed Leclerc said, "The win was clearly in our hands, and we had the performance, we had everything. I just don't understand the call I had and I need explanations for now. I couldn't do much. I was called just before the last corner, so I couldn't react or ask for any information. But that was clearly the wrong choice. We need to get better." The race was delayed for an hour after heavy showers made the track unfit for racing. There were waterlogged areas and the teams were all asked to switch to the extreme wet tyres. Once racing got underway, there weren't many issues on track, except for Mick Schumacher, who once again had a massive crash that split his car in two. Thankfully, the driver was all safe, but his team boss Gunther Steiner said, "With Mick, we obviously saw what happened. It's not very satisfactory having a big crash again. We need to see how we move forward from here." George Russell came in 5th place and he still continues his trend of finishing 5th or higher in every single race this season. His teammate Lewis Hamilton came in 8th. He was constantly trying to pass Fernando Alonso, but the Spanish driver held his ground and finished in 7th position. Lando Norris set the fastest lap of the race. He will be getting an extra point for that. He had a solid race and he finished behind George Russell in P6. The final table looks like this. Ocon was handed a time penalty for contact with Lewis Hamilton early on in the race. And Ferrari did protest that the Red Bull drivers crossed the yellow line while exiting from the pit lane. The stewards' verdict? After hearing the arguments from both Ferrari and Red Bull, all parties agreed that Car 1 Verstappen did have part of its front left and rear left on the left side of the yellow line. All parties agree that most of the left front and left rear tyre of that car remained on the yellow line. At the hearing, Ferrari conceded that car 11 Perez did not have any part of its front or rear tyre on the left of the yellow line and conceded that the protest was unfounded. So this is how the Drivers' Championship looks like at the end of the race. Max Verstappen leads over Leclerc, but Perez is catching up. And this is how the Constructors' Championship looks like after the race.